Welcome to this soundbite. I'm Patricia Riddell, and I'm a professor in applied neuroscience. I work as a specialist consultant for the Oxford Group, where I bring my knowledge of the brain to bear on challenges that are currently being faced within organizations. In this soundbite, I'll share a little of my understanding of how the brain copes with complexity, and therefore how we can train our brains to be better able to respond to complex challenges. Just as situations can be complex, the way that we respond in these situations is also complex. There are a wide range of skills and abilities that help us to make good decisions in complexity. First, it is necessary to think clearly and reflectively about the nature of the complexity and the causal chains that this creates. This is easier if you have the opportunity to consult with a wide range of individuals with different roles and perspectives on the situation. It also helps to have a team of people with different abilities and, importantly, to know and respect both your own strengths and the strengths of each of your team. You will need to be able to measure change so that you can determine the effect of any decisions you make or plans you put in place. And finally, you will need to be an efficient communicator with good channels available to communicate widely. These skills require conscious and thoughtful decision-making, the type of decision-making that Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman refers to as slow thinking. In addition, however, you will also need a range of skills that are more intuitive and unconscious, what Kahneman refers to as fast thinking. It will be important to notice when situations are stable and when unexpected, unpredictable change is introduced. It will also require the ability to make decisions even when some information is missing. This requires a tolerance of ambiguity, not knowing whether your decision will be the right one, and uncertainty, not being able to calculate the risk involved. In these situations, it is necessary to go with your gut instinct and to create the necessary preconditions for moments of insight. Being willing to experiment and to try out new ideas will help to create momentum at these times. And it will be important to be able to empathize with others, especially those in your team who have different tolerance to ambiguity and uncertainty than you have. For this, you will need to be aware of your impact on others. So what systems in the brain do these abilities activate? There are three networks of brain areas that are involved in complex decision-making. The first is the salience network, which scans the environment for tasks that need to be completed. If there is a task-positive situation, the central executive network is activated. This network is responsible for conscious, reflective decision-making and is required when we think through our response to complexity, plan solutions, and decide how to measure the effects of our decisions. If there's no task to complete, a task-negative situation, the default mode network is activated. This network is responsible for creative thinking and thinking about self in relation to others. Therefore, this network is required when we empathize with others, when we consider our impact on others, and when we consider who the best person for a particular task might be. It is also the network that underlies insight and gut feeling. In complex situations, we really need both of these networks to be active, but there's a problem. When the central executive network is active, the default mode network is deactivated. When the default mode network is activated, the central executive network is deactivated. We cannot use these networks simultaneously. However, when we have space and time to let our minds wander, these two networks are activated sequentially and information is passed from one to the other. Therefore, we require time away from tasks to allow our brains to create solutions that are both reflective and intuitive. How can we create the conditions to respond best in complex situations? First, consider when you do your best conscious reflective thinking. Use this time to set up all of the information that is available to address your particular complex situation. Then, consider where and when you have moments of creative insight. Create more of this time to allow your brain to wander and to think about your challenge unconsciously. By setting up the problem and then incubating this information in your unconscious mind, you create the conditions to respond best to complexity. We hope you found this soundbite interesting and useful. Please get in touch with us if you would like to consider more ways in which understanding the brain better can help you with challenges in your organization.